A breathtaking, high-contrast sci-fi scene. Salaria, a muscular alien warrior with verdant skin glistening with sweat, kneels on a downed Terran soldier in a scorching canyon. Scarlet hair adorned with bone trophies flowing around her sharp features, holding a crimson glowing celestial blade, poised to strike. The Terran smiles up at her defiantly. Epic detail, masterpiece, cinematic lighting, worlds beyond imagination, backdrop. Close-up, high-contrast, cinematic masterpiece depicting Salaria, a fierce alien warrior in advanced tactical armor, pointing a gleaming plasma blade at a battle-worn human soldier lying at her feet in a vast, sun-baked canyon at dusk. The human smiles defiantly, a blood trickle running down his face. His gray eyes filled with unwavering resolve, the canyon walls echoing with past battles. A close-up, hyper-detailed, high-contrast, breathtaking image. A determined Salaria, a fierce warrior with intricate tribal markings, her face a mask of resolute fury, holds a gleaming razor-sharp blade, a hair's breadth from a man's throat, in a dimly lit ancient stone chamber. The man, smirking defiantly, his face weathered and raspy, looks up at her with amused contempt. The scene lit by a single flickering torch, the jagged edges of the steel blade reflecting the firelight, emphasizing the tension and danger of the moment, creating a masterpiece of contrast and emotion. A desert warrior woman, eyes burning with fury under the harsh sun, her face scarred, points a wickedly sharp ancestral blade at a grinning, unfazed man. He calmly tells her, "You're holding it wrong," as her grip falters, the blade a blur of motion in the stark desert landscape. Highly detailed, high contrast, cinematic lighting, masterpiece. A breathtaking, high-contrast, hyper-realistic image depicting a desert scene at high noon. Salaria, a stunning warrior with intricate tribal tattoos, stands disarmed, her elaborate sword plunged into the dunes, hilt gleaming against the scorching sun. She is frozen in disbelief, hand outstretched. Opposite her, Alex, a rugged, smirking bounty hunter in a tattered shirt, casually reaches for his water flask, sand swirling around him. The vast, endless dunes stretch out under a piercing blue sky. The overall atmosphere exudes tension, defiance, and a touch of ironic humor, capturing the moment after Salaria lost her grip on the blade. A stunning, high-contrast, cinematic masterpiece. A beautiful, battle-hardened warrior woman with intricate cybernetic enhancements points a plasma blade menacingly at a handsome, yet weary, man holding a metal canteen. Her expression is a mix of rage and disbelief, illuminated by the blade's glow. He smiles slyly, challenging her. The scene is set in a desolate, futuristic wasteland at twilight. Debris and the skeletons of giant machines litter the background. Dramatic lighting and sharp focus, creating a visually striking and unforgettable image. A high-contrast, cinematic masterpiece depicting a tense standoff. Salaria, a fierce warrior with intricately braided dark hair, points a gleaming steel blade at a nonchalant Alex, who leans casually against a weathered boulder in a desolate, rocky landscape, bathed in the harsh light of a setting sun. Her eyes filled with desperation, barely concealed beneath a steely gaze, while his piercing gray eyes scrutinize her with amusement and detached analysis, capturing the moment just before he reveals her fatal flaw. "You're holding it wrong." The air thick with tension, and the promise of a disarming revelation, rendered in hyper-realistic detail with dynamic lighting and dramatic shadows. A captivating, high-contrast, and unforgettable Leonardo AI masterpiece. In a dimly lit, sandy arena under a twilight sky, Salaria, a fierce warrior with braided black hair and leather armor etched with intricate silver patterns, points a pristine meteoric iron dagger at a nonchalant Alex, casually dressed in worn traveler's clothes, a wry smile playing on his lips. Salaria in a perfect seventh stance, dagger held high, demanding demonstration, while Alex leans back, hands in pockets, unfazed, recreating the story's tension with masterful lighting and detail, focusing on the contrast between Salaria's determined expression and Alex's enigmatic amusement, embodying the theme of fleeting possession. A stunning, high-contrast, cinematic image capturing Salaria, pointing a gleaming, intricately detailed dagger at Alex in the Crimson Hunt Amphitheater Canyon at twilight. Her face contorted with rage, knuckles white. Alex, calmly brushing dust off his trousers with a confident smirk, the primeval bedrock and canyon walls towering around them, shadows deepening, a sense of unwavering purpose in his stride, echoing with the memory of his thunderous bellow, creating a masterpiece of tension and defiance. A high-contrast, hyper-realistic masterpiece depicting Salaria, a formidable huntress with wind-swept auburn hair and battle-worn leather armor, facing the skeletal matron on the Skulladorn's judgment seat. A throne of ancient bone, inside a vast, Gothic hall filled with observing warriors in the background, all under the harsh, dramatic lighting of a blood-red sunset casting long shadows. Echoing the scene, she pointed the blade at him. Any last words? Yeah, he smiled. You're holding it wrong, inspired by a dark fantasy narrative, Leonardo AI. Obsidian sculpted matriarch, verdant hide inscribed with legendary hunts, unnerving gaze, surrounded by clan's foremost hunters displaying hard-won prizes in crescent formation, high contrast, masterpiece, timeless, captivating, stark. A breathtaking, high-contrast Leonardo AI image. Salaria, a fierce elven huntress in intricately detailed dark leather armor, stands defiantly before the matron and her rivals in a grand, dimly lit hall adorned with tribal markings. Cathara smirks cruelly in the background. Salaria, holding a bloodied ornate dagger, explains with unwavering resolve, I engaged the target, capturing the tension and drama of the moment, bathed in dramatic, contrasting light. A breathtaking, high-contrast, cinematic masterpiece depicting a dramatic standoff. A formidable, fierce huntress with intricate tribal tattoos and elaborate feathered headdress, clad in dark leather armor, points a gleaming, obsidian-edged blade at a smirking, handsome rogue in tattered but stylish clothing, captured in a moonlit clearing within an ancient, gnarled forest, surrounded by a circle of astonished, heavily armed hunters in varied attire, with a towering, imposing matron adorned in bone and feathers observing from a raised platform. The scene illuminated by flickering torchlight, emphasizing the tension and raw emotion of the moment, conveying the silent gasp and anticipation in the air. Hyper-realistic detail, sharp focus, a starkly contrasting, masterpiece-level image depicting a tense standoff at twilight within a grand, ancient hall. A young, defiant warrior woman with intricate silver armor, holding a gleaming, ornate blade pointed at a cunning, smirking male captive dressed in tattered robes, the matron watching in background. A breathtaking, high-contrast, ultra-detailed masterpiece of Salaria, clad in tattered crimson hunt armor, pointing a gleaming, ornate blade at a smirking Alex resting against a crumbling, ancient sandstone archway in a sun-drenched desert ruin, circa 2342, dust motes dancing in the golden light, her face a mask of fury, his eyes sparkling with defiance. A cyberpunk girl points a glowing katana at a man sitting in a dimly lit, war-torn alleyway at dusk. He's holding a plasma rifle, smiling confidently. High contrast, cinematic lighting, highly detailed masterpiece, breathtaking. A high contrast, masterpiece-level digital painting depicting Solaria, a scarred and determined woman with piercing blue eyes, holding a dagger loosely pointed at Alex. A nonchalant, smirking man with disheveled hair and worn leather clothing, set within a sun-baked rocky canyon at dusk. The scene bathed in dramatic shadows and golden light, emphasizing the tension and unspoken power dynamics between them. A breathtaking, high-contrast masterpiece depicting a tense standoff in a dimly lit, futuristic spaceport hangar. Solaria, a cyborg assassin with sleek chrome armor and glowing blue eyes, pointing a glowing energy blade at Alex, a charismatic rogue with a sly grin, clad in a worn leather jacket and cargo pants. Rain streaks the hangar's grimy windows, reflecting neon signs, as Alex says, "You're holding it wrong," his expression daring and confident, while Solaria's face is a mask of conflicted curiosity and frustration. The overall scene imbued with a film noir atmosphere, capturing the moment of decision with intricate details and dramatic lighting. A stunning, high-contrast masterpiece cinematic still. Solaria, a beautiful exiled warrior with dark, wind-swept hair, holding a Damascus steel blade loosely pointed at Alex, a ruggedly handsome mercenary with a smirk playing on his lips, in a dimly lit medieval tavern filled with shadows and the scent of ale. Alex is leaning casually against a rough-hewn wooden table, his hand resting on a worn leather-bound map. The scene captures the tense moment after she spared him, highlighting the complex emotions of distrust, curiosity, and a flicker of something more. Hyper-realistic details, dramatic lighting, golden hour, bokeh. A high-contrast, cinematic masterpiece depicting a tense standoff in a desolate, post-apocalyptic wasteland. Solaria, a young, fierce woman in scavenged tactical gear, points a rusty, serrated blade towards Alex, a battle-hardened mercenary with scars and a confident smirk, his backpack slung over his shoulder, with the sun casting long shadows and dust motes swirling around them, capturing the moment of his daring challenge and her reluctant concession. A breathtaking, high-contrast cinematic masterpiece depicting a tense standoff in a dimly lit, cavernous space. Solaria, a beautiful woman with piercing blue eyes and dark, flowing hair, holds a gleaming, ornate blade pointed at Alex, who stands calmly, a faint, confident smile playing on his lips. Solaria wears dark, practical leather armor, emphasizing her strength and agility, while Alex is dressed in simple, worn traveler's clothes, suggesting a sharp intellect rather than physical prowess. The scene is bathed in ethereal, otherworldly light filtering through cracks in the cave ceiling, highlighting the dramatic tension and the subtle shift in Solaria's expression as Alex's words begin to unsettle her unwavering resolve, capturing the essence of their complex dynamic with an uncanny attentiveness that absorbs every detail. A breathtaking, high-contrast, unforgettable cinematic masterpiece. Solaria, a fierce, athletic woman with intricate tribal tattoos adorning her skin, dressed in futuristic, battle-worn leather armor, points a gleaming plasma blade at a smirking, cocky Alex, clad in a rugged mercenary outfit, sparks flying from a nearby energy weapon impact. Both figures silhouetted against the harsh, red-tinged sunset of a desolate alien planet. Distant dust clouds reveal approaching raider vehicles, repulsor engines humming, rocks scattered around the desolate landscape, creating dramatic shadows and a sense of impending doom. A desperate scene unfolds behind jagged boulders under a crimson, post-apocalyptic sky. Solaria, a fierce warrior with cybernetic enhancements glinting on her face, is restrained by Alex, a grizzled survivor in tattered leathers. His hand grips her wrist, preventing her from drawing her dagger. In the foreground, raider vehicles. Grotesque, Frankensteinian machines of salvaged metal and weaponry surge over a nearby ridge, their engines screaming like tortured souls. The scene is rendered in high contrast, hyper-detailed, cinematic quality, creating an iconic, unforgettable image. A high-contrast, breathtaking and iconic cinematic scene. Solaria, a ruthless pirate captain with piercing eyes, clad in dark, futuristic armor, points a glowing energy blade at Alex, a smug, resourceful smuggler with a confident smirk. Amidst a tense standoff inside a dimly lit, metallic spaceship cockpit, filled with sparking consoles and flickering holographic displays, while outside, ominous pirate ships equipped with advanced thermal sensors close in. The scene illuminated by the harsh red glow of alarms and the vibrant blue of the energy weapon, recreating a pivotal moment with intense dramatic lighting and unforgettable detail. Veiled. Solaria gently guides the blade back into its scabbard in a desolate wasteland, veiled in dust clouds, kicked up by approaching marauders in 4 armored vehicles. Alex emerges, hands raised in surrender, under the harsh light, hyper-realistic, high-contrast, dramatic lighting, masterpiece. A colossal, cyborg-like raider leader with a menacing metallic visage descends, plasma caster in hand, smirking at his captives under a dystopian crimson-skied wasteland sunset. High contrast, photorealistic masterpiece. A breathtaking, high-contrast, hyper-realistic digital painting. Solaria, a fierce, agile space pirate with emerald eyes, clad in sleek, dark tactical gear, pointing a plasma blade at Alex, a nonchalant, rugged salvager with a wry smile, standing amidst the debris-strewn, dimly lit cargo hold of his spaceship, the broken spine, with a glint of an emerald trinket visible in the background. The scene bathed in a cold, metallic light, capturing the tension and drama of their standoff. A gritty, high-contrast, noir scene. A young woman with a determined expression, cyberpunk-style clothing, and neon hair, points a gleaming blade at a man with a smirk, casual attire, and a cybernetic arm, set against a rain-slicked dystopian cityscape at night, focusing on the tension and the man's unexpected confidence, rendered with dramatic lighting and sharp details. A post-apocalyptic wasteland scene, high contrast, cinematic lighting. Alex, rugged, handsome, 30s, scars subtly visible, smirking confidently, wielding a makeshift shield of car door metal, deflecting plasma fire and axe blows. A wrecked and sparking car in the background with jury-rigged clamps. Raiders, vicious, dirty, mismatched armor, being defeated. One slammed into dirt, another's plasma rifle malfunctioning spectacularly, sand kicking up around them. Focus on Alex's dynamic pose and determined expression. Gritty and realistic details. Ultra-detailed texture, masterpiece, award-winning. A breathtaking, high-contrast, hyper-realistic image depicting Solara in a sun-drenched desert battle, gracefully dodging a raider's attack against a boulder. She wears tattered practical desert garb, her face determined. The raider, caught off balance, grimaces. A wrecked vehicle reflects harsh sunlight to disorient another foe in the background, showcasing the desert's harsh beauty and danger as Solara weaponizes her environment, set during the intensity of a midday raid. A breathtaking, high-contrast, hyper-realistic image of Solaria standing triumphantly in a desolate, post-apocalyptic wasteland after a fierce battle, her gleaming blade held casually in one hand, immaculate against the backdrop of smoking vehicles and fallen raiders. Alex, rugged and practical, examines a fallen enemy nearby, both illuminated by the harsh, late-afternoon sun casting long shadows, recreating a scene from a sci-fi novel with intense emotion and detailed environment. A breathtaking, high-contrast, masterpiece cinematic still depicting a tense standoff in a desolate, sun-scorched desert landscape dominated by the ruins of a shattered comm tower. Alex, cradling a salvaged water recycler, urgently facing Solaria, who points a futuristic, glowing blade at him. Alex smiles with subtle defiance, while Solaria's face is obscured by shadows of doubt and conflict. The scene evokes a sense of desperation and tactical brilliance in a post-apocalyptic setting, capturing the moment just before Alex delivers his unexpected retort, "You're holding it wrong," inspired by the story's themes of lateral thinking and unconventional warfare. A photorealistic, high-contrast, and breathtakingly beautiful cinematic still depicting a tense standoff in a dimly lit, ancient stone chamber. A battle-hardened warrior woman, Solaria, in intricately detailed dark leather armor, her face etched with sorrow and determination, pointing a gleaming, ancient blade, the ancestral blade, directly at a wounded but defiant male warrior, the He. His expression a mix of pain and a knowing, subtle smirk. Dust motes dance in the single shaft of moonlight piercing the gloom, highlighting the intricate carvings on the chamber walls and floor, alluding to a tragic past of clan conflict and lost honor. Cinematic lighting, masterpiece, 8K. A high-contrast, hyper-detailed, masterpiece Leonardo AI image depicting a tense standoff in a starlit desert. Solaria, a fierce assassin in dark flowing robes, holds a gleaming blade to Alex's throat, her face a mask of cold determination. Alex, with a confident smirk, stands relaxed, gazing upwards at the breathtaking celestial tapestry above, the stars casting dramatic shadows, emphasizing the stark, arid landscape and the poignant moment of unexpected vulnerability and realization between them. The scene imbued with the weight of legacy and the potential for self-discovery. Cinematic masterpiece, high contrast, breathtaking detail. Solaria, a fierce woman with cybernetic enhancements, pointing a plasma blade at a smirking Alex in a dusty post-apocalyptic wasteland camp. Alex, rugged and resourceful, with a pack over his shoulder, stands amid a labyrinth of ramshackle dwellings, a setting sun casting long shadows, hinting at a bustling trading post in the distance. A breathtaking, high-contrast, masterpiece image depicting a gritty, cyberpunk spaceport marketplace formed from the wreckage of a freighter, chrome-plated decay festering everywhere, showcasing Alex, seasoned and alert, guiding Solaria through the alien crowd. Solaria is startled, while Alex has his hand on his weapon. She points a glowing plasma blade at him with a cruel smile, while he responds with confidence. A gritty, high-contrast, cinematic scene inside a run-down desert hostel room with paper-thin walls, 2 metal frame beds, and a malfunctioning water recycler. Solaria, weary but determined, points a glowing plasma blade at a smirking Alex slumped on his bed, both clad in dust-worn futuristic nomad attire. Recreate the iconic standoff. She pointed the blade at him. Any last words? Yeah, he smiled. You're holding it wrong, with exceptional detail and dramatic lighting. Close-up, breathtakingly photorealistic oil painting. Solaria, a hardened, beautiful warrior woman with intricately braided dark hair and fierce eyes, points a gleaming, ornate, blood-streaked blade at Alex, a handsome, slightly disheveled rogue with a confident, playful smirk, standing in a dimly lit, medieval tavern with rough-hewn wooden tables and spilled ale. Flickering candlelight casting dramatic shadows. High contrast, sharp focus, Rembrandt lighting, masterpiece, depicting the pivotal moment of unspoken connection and reluctant separation, conveying the weight of their shared past and uncertain future. She pointed the blade at him. Any last words? Yeah, he smiled. You're holding it wrong. The atmosphere thick with tension and hidden desires. 8K resolution, ultra-detailed. A hyper-realistic, high-contrast, masterpiece image depicting Solaria, a fierce warrior with determined eyes and intricate clan markings, holding a gleaming blade pointed at Alex, a composed man with piercing gray eyes and a subtle smile, his hands resting near a disassembled rifle on a weathered wooden table in a dimly lit, ancient, tactical setting. Dramatic lighting, casting long shadows, recreating the tense scene from the story. She pointed the blade at him. Any last words? Yeah, he smiled. You're holding it wrong, with a focus on character expressions and dynamic storytelling. A high-contrast, visually stunning and timeless Leonardo AI image. A fierce, regal alien warrior, Solaria, in ornate, battle-worn armor, points a glowing energy blade at a smirking, grizzled human mercenary, Alex, in tattered clothing, in a dimly lit, futuristic training dojo with holographic projections of ancient battles, knowledge symbols etched on the walls, dramatic lighting highlighting the tension and contrasting their expressions, embodying the moment she demands truth before striking, inspired by the "she pointed the blade at him" narrative, focusing on the raw emotion and visual storytelling. A young woman, meticulously armored in polished steel, points a gleaming katana at a disheveled young man, his clothes ripped and stained, but wearing a confident, knowing smirk. A dilapidated training dojo, littered with broken wooden swords and torn paper lanterns, bathed in the warm, golden light of late afternoon. High contrast, ultra-detailed, cinematic lighting, masterpiece, timeless. A breathtaking, high-contrast, masterpiece image capturing the pivotal moment. Solaria, a young warrior with determined eyes and intricately braided hair, clad in weathered leather armor, points a gleaming, intricately detailed Damascus steel blade at Alex, a charismatic swordsman with a sly smile playing on his lips, dressed in simple, worn training clothes, inside a sun-drenched, ancient training dojo filled with swirling dust motes, the scene imbued with a sense of intense focus, anticipation, and underlying connection. The dramatic lighting highlighting the tension and mystery of their exchange, with the dojo's architecture rendered in photorealistic detail. Circa medieval times, Leonardo AI, a high-contrast, masterpiece-level AI Leonardo image depicting a tense nighttime scene. A battle-hardened woman in practical, worn leather armor, illuminated by flickering firelight, holds a gleaming blade pointed at a smiling, slightly injured but confident man also in similar attire. The backdrop is a rugged, rocky landscape under a starlit sky, emphasizing the raw intensity of their exchange and the underlying respect in their shared combat training, with a subtle hint of contemplation on their faces. A breathtaking, high-contrast masterpiece. Solaria, a fierce warrior with intricate silver armor reflecting the cold dawn light, stands poised in a desolate, war-torn landscape at sunrise, holding a gleaming, ornate blade pointed at a smirking, wounded warrior kneeling before her. Dramatic shadows and dust motes fill the air as she contemplates his words, her face a mask of conflicted emotions, etched with the weight of countless battles and a profound internal struggle for self-discovery, embodying the question, why do you elect to wage war? A breathtaking, high-contrast, and ultra-detailed cinematic still capturing Solaria in a desperate, close-quarters battle under a crimson-tinged dystopian sunset. She stands defiantly amidst scattered debris and flickering plasma bursts, pointing a high-tech energy blade at one of three menacing scavengers clad in ragged metallic armor. Alex, a young man with a worried expression, is partially obscured behind her, in the background. Solaria's futuristic, battle-worn armor is intricately designed with glowing energy conduits. Her face is etched with determination as she smiles faintly. The scene is reminiscent of a high-stakes moment from a sci-fi saga, with the prompt, "She pointed the blade at him. Any last words?" "Yeah," he smiled. "You're holding it wrong," suggesting a daring defiance. Hyperrealism, award-winning photography. A photorealistic, high-contrast, masterpiece portrait of a fierce female warrior with determined eyes, pointing a gleaming, intricately detailed blade at a wounded, yet smirking, male outlaw under a twilight sky in a desolate, rocky western landscape, while two other outlaws flee in the background, with Alex looking on with a warm smile. The scene captures a moment of strategic restraint and understated camaraderie, emphasizing the contrast between aggression and compassion. Using dramatic lighting, cinematic composition, and exceptional detail to evoke a sense of justice and moral complexity. Close-up, hyper-realistic portrait of Solaria, a weathered but beautiful warrior with piercing blue eyes, clad in battle-worn leather armor, holding a gleaming, ornate blade pointed at a smirking Alex, standing in a muddy post-battle clearing under a twilight sky, scattered bodies and broken weaponry littering the ground. The scene illuminated by the ethereal glow of a setting sun, casting long, dramatic shadows, capturing the tension and raw emotion of the moment, with an emphasis on the stark contrast between Solaria's hardened resolve and Alex's unexpected serenity, evoking a profound sense of moral ambiguity and the complex interplay between compassion and conflict. A breathtaking, high-contrast, masterpiece cinematic image, a strikingly beautiful yet conflicted warrior woman, Solaria, clad in worn leather armor with crimson accents, her face etched with worry, but eyes blazing with determination, points a gleaming, ornate blade with an unsteady hand at a handsome, injured raider, sprawled against a rough-hewn wooden post in a dimly lit, fire-lit forest clearing at dusk. The raider, despite his wounds, offers a knowing, almost mischievous smile, a slight glint of amusement in his eyes. In the foreground, a crumpled crimson hunt missive with a blood-red seal hints at impending doom, while the background reveals a path leading back to a distant, ominous city silhouetted against the fiery sunset, emphasizing the pivotal crossroads she faces. The overall mood is tense, emotional, and visually stunning, with an emphasis on chiaroscuro lighting to highlight the contrast between vulnerability and strength. A breathtaking, high-contrast, hyper-realistic masterpiece capturing Solaria, a fierce warrior with determined eyes, pointing a gleaming ornate blade at Alex, a cunning rogue with a confident smirk, in a dimly lit ancient clan hall filled with shadows and foreboding, the scene steeped in tension and impending doom, showcasing the stark contrast between their stances and the crumbling grandeur of their once powerful society, symbolizing betrayal, desperation, and the weight of destiny. A breathtaking, high-contrast, cinematic shot. In the aftermath of an epic cosmic battle, Solaria, a warrior with determined eyes and battle-worn armor, points a glowing energy blade at a smirking Alex, standing amidst the alien wreckage of a once familiar landscape, with shattered, otherworldly structures and a crimson-tinged sky in the background, evoking a sense of both devastation and defiant hope, with hyper-realistic detail, dramatic lighting, and an emphasis on the characters' expressions and the alien environment's texture. A photorealistic, high-contrast, masterpiece-level image depicting a ruined amphitheater, ancestral home ravaged by plasma scorches and crumbled ruins, training fields desolate with shattered weapons, a warrior woman pointing a futuristic energy blade at a smiling, confident man in tattered clothing, minor port backdrop, reminiscent of sci-fi Roman ruins, a tense showdown under a blood-red sunset, gritty and cinematic. A photorealistic, high-contrast, cinematic masterpiece depicting a tense standoff in a crumbling, dystopian cityscape at twilight. A determined female hunter, clad in worn leather armor and wielding a gleaming blade, points it at a defiant, yet weary male hunter, dirtied and bruised but with a knowing smile, amidst the ruins of a once grand library, with flickering holographic data streams displaying graphs of societal collapse in the background, highlighting the contrast between ancient knowledge and impending doom. A breathtaking, high-contrast masterpiece capturing the tense moment. Solaria, a fierce warrior with intricate tribal tattoos, points a gleaming ornate blade at Alex, a roguish strategist with a sly smirk, inside a dimly lit, ancient fortress courtyard at night, torches casting dramatic shadows on the worn stone walls, while subtly hinting at the lax security and the upcoming infiltration, a stunning visual representation of the exchange. She pointed the blade at him. "Any last words?" "Yeah," he smiled. "You're holding it wrong." A photorealistic, high-contrast masterpiece portrait of Solaria, a weathered and determined huntress with scars marking her face, standing in a once grand chamber now defiled with severed heads of clan members mounted as trophies, her expression a mix of horror and rage. She's clad in practical leather armor stained with blood and dirt, a simple sword at her hip, and her hand is clenched into a fist. The dim light filters through cracks in the decaying walls, highlighting the gruesome details and the dust motes dancing in the air, recreating the atmosphere of betrayal and impending doom from the "she pointed the blade at him" scene. Capturing the weight of her realization, this is absolute insanity, with a dejected sigh. A stunning, high-contrast horror scene. A beautiful woman with piercing eyes pointing a bloody, ornate blade at a smirking man in a dimly lit Gothic fortress hallway. Shadows dance across intricate stone walls, hinting at hidden passages. The air is thick with tension and unspoken dread, reflecting the terror of forfeited influence described by Alex. Dust motes swirl in the single ray of moonlight, illuminating the man's defiant smile and the woman's grim determination. Dramatic lighting emphasizes the stark contrast between their expressions, capturing a moment of irreversible choice and impending doom, evocative of classic horror film noir. A breathtaking, high-contrast cinematic shot depicting a tense confrontation in a dimly lit, ancient, sacred chamber. Cathura, kneeling with bound hands, faces a stern matron holding a gleaming executioner's blade aloft, light reflecting sharply off its edge. Salaria and an unseen companion observe from the shadows, faces etched with horror. Dramatic lighting emphasizing the matron's power and Cathura's defiance. 15th century medieval aesthetic, evoking a sense of impending doom and rebellion. Close-up cinematic masterpiece, a decrepit, enraged matron in tattered crimson robes holding a gleaming, ornate blade with a reversed grip, pointing it at a handsome, defiant rebel with a knowing smirk. "Yeah, you're holding it wrong," on his lips. Inside a dimly lit Gothic prison cell with iron bars, high contrast, dramatic shadows, hyper-realistic, intricate details, captured during a tense standoff at dawn. A breathtaking, high contrast, and unforgettable Leonardo AI image. Salaria, a fierce warrior with intricate armor and a determined expression, her blade gleaming under torchlight, poised to strike. She stands in a grand, medieval-style execution chamber filled with stunned hunters, intervening in the execution of a smiling man bound before the matron, the executioner's blade raised high as she declares, "I claim the right of challenge," capturing the climax of a tense, spiraling conflict. A breathtaking, high-contrast, masterpiece-level scene. A defiant female hunter, her face etched with grim determination, points a gleaming, serrated blade at a colossal, battle-scarred warrior named Ash Will, a wry smile playing on his lips as he says, "You're holding it wrong." Set in a dimly lit, ancient arena under a blood-red sunset, a matriarch watching with a mixture of fear and resignation, reflecting the weight of ancestral customs facing revolution. A high-contrast, visually stunning, masterpiece cinematic still. Salaria, a determined warrior with intense eyes, points a gleaming, intricately detailed blade at Vor, a stoic, handsome warrior smiling faintly in a vast, sun-drenched, ancient arena with swirling sand, evoking a tense standoff. Salaria's posture reveals a shift in her understanding, the inflexibility of tradition fading from her stance, while Vor's textbook-perfect form highlights the clash of ideologies. Dramatic lighting emphasizes their contrasting expressions, capturing the raw emotion and impending conflict, with ancient runes and intricate carvings visible on the arena walls, hinting at the weight of history and the deities judging their valor in the style of a Ridley Scott film. Hyper-realistic detail, extreme close-up, bokeh, a captivating, high-contrast, masterpiece illustration. Salaria, mid-combat, lithe and fluid, deflects Vorash's thrust with unexpected grace. Her face a mask of determined focus, the rigidness gone, replaced by intuitive movement. Vorash, surprised and off balance, his clan blade glinting, framed against the stark, ancient dojo. Matron watches intently in the background, face etched with a mixture of shock and awe. Sunlight streams through a high window illuminating dust motes, creating a dynamic and unforgettable scene. A breathtaking, high-contrast, and unforgettable image. Salaria, illuminated by flickering torchlight in a cavernous chamber, expertly manipulates her blade at an impossible angle, showcasing Alex's teachings while Vorash, a battle-worn warrior, recoils in bewilderment, the sand swirling around their feet enhancing the illusion, a superior perspective in a deadly dance. A breathtaking, high-contrast, masterpiece cinematic shot of Solaria, a lithe warrior in intricately designed, dark leather armor with glowing energy accents, pointing a sleek, futuristic blade at Vorsh, a formidable cyborg warrior in gleaming silver armor, mid-motion during a failed strike, his mechanical body slightly off balance. The dramatic climax takes place in a dimly lit, high-tech training arena with holographic displays flickering in the background, reflecting the intense blue and orange hues of the energy weapons, creating a palpable sense of tension and impending doom. 8K resolution, a stunning, high-contrast masterpiece image, a tense standoff in a dimly lit medieval tavern. Solaria, a beautiful warrior with flowing silver hair and piercing blue eyes, points a gleaming ornate blade at Vash's throat, her grip fluid and confident. Vash, a handsome rogue with a smirk playing on his lips, looks up at her with awe in his eyes. Background details include rough-hewn wooden tables, scattered mugs, and flickering candlelight casting dramatic shadows, creating a palpable sense of danger and underlying tension. A high-contrast, breathtaking masterpiece depicting Solaria, a warrior clad in ornate, battle-worn silver armor, standing in a snow-dusted arena bathed in the ethereal glow of a twilight sky. She lowers her gleaming, rune-etched blade, sparing Vors, her defeated opponent, kneeling before her, a faint smile playing on his lips. A crimson-faced, enraged matron stands amidst a crowd of shocked hunters. Capturing the dramatic moment, Solaria defies tradition with a compassionate act, her newfound authority radiating powerfully, recreating the story's pivotal scene with exceptional detail and visual impact. A dramatic, high-contrast, masterpiece photorealistic image depicting a tense standoff in a grand, Gothic hall. A fierce, beautiful warrior woman in intricately detailed, dark leather armor points a gleaming, ornate blade, engraved with runes, at a handsome but battered rogue with a confident smirk. She's surrounded by elite hunters clad in silver and crimson, observing the scene with conflicted expressions, torches casting long, dynamic shadows across the hall, illuminating the dust motes in the air, capturing the moment she begins her powerful speech about the corruption of their order. Late evening light streaming through stained glass windows. A stunning, high-contrast image capturing the moment Solaria, in ornate yet practical hunter armor, stands defiantly in a grand, ancient hall bathed in dramatic lighting, pointing a gleaming, technologically advanced blade at a furious, elderly matron. Guards stand frozen in indecision amidst a crowd of passionate hunters, some enraged, others intrigued. The scene evokes a pivotal moment of ideological conflict with rich details, textures, and an overall sense of epic scale and profound consequence, reminiscent of a Renaissance painting with a futuristic twist. A high-contrast, breathtakingly detailed, photorealistic oil painting masterpiece depicting a tense standoff in a grand, dimly lit hall within an ancient clan stronghold. Solaria, a young woman with fiery eyes and determined expression, dressed in intricately designed leather armor, effortlessly disarms the aged, enraged matron mid-lunge, the matron's face a mask of furious desperation, a gleaming blade held loosely in her trembling hand. Surrounding them, guards in elaborate armor stand frozen, captivated by Solaria's recent compelling speech, bathed in the dramatic light of flickering torches, reflecting off polished stone floors, emphasizing the clan's eroding power and the rebellion's decisive moment, creating a visually stunning and emotionally charged scene. A photorealistic, high-contrast masterpiece scene, effortlessly evading the blade. The aged matron, clad in opulent, dark velvet robes embroidered with silver thread, stumbles backward, her face etched with shock and dawning remorse. The youthful Solarian exile, in stark, practical leather armor, reaches out a steadying hand, her expression a mix of compassion and resolve. Dim light filtering through stained glass windows in a grand, Gothic hall of power, casting long shadows and highlighting the intricate details of their clothing and the tense moment of near fall and unexpected forgiveness. A high-contrast, breathtaking masterpiece depicting a tense standoff, Solaria, a warrior with intricate armor reflecting dim torchlight, holding a shimmering blade at Alex, who stands confidently at the chamber entrance, hands raised in peace, while other hunters clad in shadowy gear look on with suspicion. The scene bathed in cold, dramatic lighting, hinting at an impending threat and the fragility of hope. Hyper-realistic, cinematic, detailed. A stunning, high-contrast masterpiece artwork depicting a tense standoff in a futuristic, dimly lit war room aboard a Crimson Hunt spaceship. Alex, a hardened, scarred commander in crimson and black tactical armor, his face grim, stands opposite a female Bone Reaper warrior in bone white and black armor, holding a glowing plasma blade pointed at his chest. He smiles slyly, the holographic display behind them revealing 3 Bone Reaper battlecruisers emerging from hyperspace above a war-torn planet, emphasizing the impending doom and the desperate situation. The chamber is filled with officers in similar uniforms, frozen in shock and disbelief. Dramatic lighting from the holographic display and weapon illuminates their faces, conveying the weight of the imminent battle and the betrayal of the internecine conflict. A photorealistic, high-contrast, masterpiece image. A grizzled, battle-hardened Vash smiles wryly, defiant, as a determined, beautiful Solarian warrior, clad in futuristic armor with glowing energy accents, points a plasma blade inches from his throat in a dimly lit, war-torn command center, sparks flying from damaged consoles in the background, the air thick with smoke and tension. A holographic display showing approaching orbital bombardment in the distance, dramatic lighting emphasizing their faces, conveying a sense of impending doom, yet unwavering resolve. A captivating, high-contrast, and breathtaking masterpiece depicting Solaria in a grand hall, illuminated by dramatic light, pointing a gleaming, ornate blade towards an unseen figure. Her expression resolute and intelligent, eyes blazing with strategic fire. Clad in intricately detailed, dark leather armor accented with silver filigree. Her stance powerful, yet graceful. The hall filled with a diverse assembly of warriors, some furious, others terrified. Recreate a scene of tense anticipation before battle, emphasizing the historical fantasy setting with realistic textures and a palpable sense of impending doom, capturing the essence of a disastrous tactic at twilight, a truly legendary and unforgettable image. A breathtaking, high-contrast masterpiece depicting a tense battlefield scene. Solaria, a woman of fierce beauty with determined eyes, directs a group of formerly adversarial hunters amidst explosions and chaos. She gestures commandingly while pointing to a distant enemy, her armor gleaming under the twilight sky. Alex and Cathar standing close by, reflecting strategic thought, The scene bathed in dynamic lighting, recreating a pivotal moment from "She pointed the blade at him" with unparalleled detail and artistry, capturing the essence of unconventional tactics and reluctant respect. A breathtaking, high-contrast, photorealistic scene. Salaria, a fierce Salarian warrior with intricate tribal markings and glowing blue eyes, stands defiantly before a council of stern-faced veterans in a dimly lit, cavernous chamber carved from bone and rock. She is clad in battle-worn, dark leather armor, a futuristic energy rifle slung across her back. Alex, a young, tech-savvy strategist with cybernetic enhancements, stands beside her, gesturing towards a holographic projection of a vast, labyrinthine canyon system. The scene is lit with the harsh glow of tactical displays and the flickering light of energy torches, creating dramatic shadows that emphasize the tension and determination in their faces. The air is thick with the weight of their impending sacrifice, the fate of their people resting on their shoulders. Masterful composition, cinematic lighting, and extreme detail. A high-contrast, stunning image depicting a tense standoff in a war-torn dystopian landscape. A young woman, Alex, with fierce eyes and practical, battle-worn attire, points a futuristic blade at a smirking, handsome warrior held captive amidst crumbling ruins, illuminated by a dying sun, dust and smoke swirling around them, showcasing the raw intensity and desperate strategy of an unconventional resistance. A breathtaking, high-contrast, eternally captivating image of a defiant, scarred warrior woman pointing a plasma blade at a smirking, battle-worn man within the ruins of a once great fortress. Plasma fire raining down from colossal ships in the background. The scene bathed in the eerie glow of distant explosions and the cold light of impending doom, evoking a sense of tragic defiance and strategic brilliance. A stark, high-contrast image depicting a fierce, determined woman with intricately braided dark hair, clad in battle-worn, futuristic armor, holding a glowing energy blade pointed at a cocky, smirking man in similar but damaged armor. The man has cybernetic augmentations and a confident, almost mocking expression. Behind them, a canyon explodes in fiery annihilation, the remnants of ancient structures crumbling amidst the chaos. In the far distance, robotic bone reapers march relentlessly towards a fortified position, their metallic forms gleaming under the harsh, smoky light, recreating the scene from the story. She pointed the blade at him. Any last words? Yeah, he smiled. You're holding it wrong. A scene of defiance and impending destruction. A breathtaking, high-contrast image of Salaria, a fierce warrior with determined eyes, leading a guerrilla squad amidst the alien ruins of a fallen civilization. She points a glowing plasma blade at a surprised, heavily armored Bone Reaper conqueror, her tattered camouflage cloak blending with the desolate, war-torn environment filled with plasma bursts and flickering holographic displays, a triumphant smirk playing on her lips as she baits him with the iconic "You're holding it wrong" line in a pivotal moment of the unseen battle. Vibrant colors juxtaposed against the gritty darkness. A breathtaking, high-contrast, and hyper-detailed cinematic, still capturing the standoff in a crimson-hued canyon at dusk. A lithe, battle-hardened female warrior of the Crimson Hunt, clad in dark stealth armor with glowing red accents, points a gleaming plasma blade at a heavily armored, scarred alien commander named Garnash, a hulking figure in Bone Reaper armor with a cruel grin. Intricate canyon details with hidden passages, dust motes catching the fading light, and the eerie silhouettes of swifter Bone Reaper squads flanking in the background. all rendered with unparalleled realism and cinematic perfection, embodying the moment of tension and defiance. Highly detailed dramatic painting, Solaria pointing a plasma blade at a wounded enemy scout in a canyon. Intense close-up on their faces, Alex observing from a higher vantage point in the background. Canyon walls with concealed positions, tactical UI overlay elements, nighttime setting with bright tactical lights illuminating the scene. Crimson Hunt insignia visible on armor, high contrast, photorealistic rendering, cinematic lighting, Leonardo AI, a breathtaking high-contrast image of Solaria, a fierce and cunning warrior with intricate tribal tattoos and battle-worn armor, pointing a gleaming ornate blade at a charismatic enemy leader, his face etched with surprise and a subtle smirk, in an ancient, mist-shrouded grove with towering, cavernous walls, concealing hidden Solarian sharpshooters. The scene illuminated by dappled sunlight filtering through the dense canopy, capturing the moment of impending conflict and Solaria's clan's strategic ambush. A visual masterpiece symbolizing their resilience and tactical brilliance. Epic high-contrast image of Solaria in a mystical grove, blade pointed at Garnos, who smirks, a fierce warrior woman clad in intricate armor, lush forest background with ethereal lighting, dawn setting, Garnos flanked by shadowy elite guards, cinematic, ultra-detailed, masterpiece, emotional depth, spiritual atmosphere, recreating a scene of challenge and impending conflict. A breathtaking, high-contrast scene depicting a fierce Solaria, clad in battle-worn leather armor, pointing a gleaming, intricately etched blade at Garnash, a heavily armored warlord with a sneering face, surrounded by his intimidating soldiers in a dimly lit, ancient throne room with towering stone pillars and banners bearing his crest, as she delivers her scathing words with unwavering conviction, highlighting the tension and impending clash between honor and brute force. A breathtakingly savage duel under a twilight sky. Solaria, a lithe warrior with flowing silver hair and emerald eyes, clad in battle-worn leather armor, fluidly evades the ferocious attacks of the towering Garnash, a barbaric warlord with scarred skin, clad in ornate black armor, his face twisted in rage as he overextends with a decisive blow in a rugged grove. High contrast, dynamic action, cinematic lighting, masterpiece, ultimate detail. A breathtaking, high-contrast image capturing the climax of a duel in a sun-drenched grove. Commander Garnash, clad in ornate but battle-worn armor, lies crumpled on the forest floor, his weapon cast aside. Solaria, a figure of poised strength in sleek, functional armor, stands over him, her blade withdrawn, but still dripping with blood, sunlight glinting off its surface. Her expression is one of cool resolve as she addresses the retreating enemy fleet visible in the background. The entire scene bathed in dramatic golden light, emphasizing the raw power and decisive victory. A masterpiece of action and tension. A hyper-detailed, high-contrast, masterpiece image depicting a female warrior, clad in battle-worn armor reflecting her own determined face, pointing a gleaming blade at a downed male commander on a war-torn battlefield at dusk. She reaches out a hand to help him up, defying the shocked onlookers from both armies. He looks at her with respect and nods, agreeing to withdraw his forces. Cinematic masterpiece, high contrast, breathtaking detail. In a desolate, post-apocalyptic sacred grove bathed in ethereal moonlight, Solaria, a fierce warrior with scarred face and determined eyes, clad in tattered leather armor and wielding a gleaming ornate blade, stands before Vorus. a weary elder with a hopeful yet doubtful expression. Around them are seasoned hunters patching up armor, venerable elders tending to the wounded, and frightened youth huddling together, all bathed in the soft glow of makeshift lanterns. Solaria points the blade downwards, not threateningly but with conviction, symbolizing the transition from war to reconstruction, as she declares, "Now we reconstruct, yet we rebuild it stronger." Bone Reaper Legion's wreckage scattered subtly in the background, hinting at the recent battle, invoking a sense of hope amidst despair, a visual testament to resilience, hope, and rebirth. A photorealistic, high-contrast, masterpiece cinematic still depicting Solaria, weary but resolute, addressing the circle of mothers in a revitalized Solarian community center weeks after a crisis. Warm, natural lighting highlights the weathered textures of her face and the intricate, newly repaired architectural details around her. Solaria stands amidst a backdrop of meticulously designed tapestries showcasing scenes of unity and rebuilding, her posture conveying both humility and strength. The scene is bathed in golden hour light filtering through stained glass windows, casting vibrant patterns on the attentive faces of the mothers, capturing a moment of profound hope and collective determination, truly an unforgettable and iconic scene. A captivating, high-contrast, masterpiece image of Solaria, mid-30s, wise eyes, clad in intricately detailed, practical leather armor, pointing a gleaming, ornate blade at a disarmingly smiling man in his late 30s, dressed in worn traveler's attire, within a dimly lit ancient gathering hall filled with rugged hunters. The scene bathed in dramatic chiaroscuro, conveying a pivotal moment of leadership challenge and societal shift in a post-apocalyptic world. A stunning, high-contrast cinematic masterpiece depicting a tense standoff. A beautiful, battle-hardened Solarian warrior, clad in sleek, futuristic armor with glowing accents, points a shimmering energy blade at a smirking, weathered Alex, dressed in simple, functional attire and holding a worn duffel bag, standing on the metallic platform of a spaceport overlooking a bustling, futuristic city, bathed in the vibrant hues of a binary sunset on an alien planet. The air thick with anticipation and dramatic lighting, highlighting the conflicting emotions in their eyes. A breathtaking, high-contrast, cinematic masterpiece, a young woman, she, with determined eyes, holding a gleaming, futuristic blade pointed at him, Alex, who stands relaxed and smiling gently, bathed in the soft, ethereal glow of a late-afternoon sun on a tranquil, futuristic cityscape, overlooking a transport team meticulously working below, his expression conveying a profound sense of accomplishment and quiet joy, hers reflecting a complex mix of resolve and nascent understanding. The scene imbued with a sense of poignant finality and emerging independence, ultra-detailed, photorealistic, a breathtaking, high-contrast cinematic still capturing a tense standoff in a sun-drenched, arid canyon at high noon. Solaria, a formidable warrior in weathered leather armor, holds a gleaming blade loosely, almost playfully, pointed at Alex, who stands relaxed and confident, a faint, knowing smile playing on his lips. The canyon walls casting sharp shadows, dust motes dancing in the golden light, embodying the lesson, a death grip leads to inflexibility, rendered with photorealistic detail and a timeless, epic quality. A breathtaking, high-contrast, and ultra-detailed cinematic shot of a tense standoff under a twilight sky. Solaria, a warrior with determined eyes and wind-swept hair, clad in shimmering meteoric iron armor, points a blade at Alex, a young traveler with a confident smirk, shouldering a worn pack near a futuristic transport. The scene imbued with a sense of pivotal struggle, contrasting ideals, and the transformative power of perspective, emphasizing the weight and personal significance of the blade as a symbol of self-discovery and choice. A high-contrast, cinematic masterpiece depicting a young, determined woman named Saloria, clad in weathered leather armor, holding a gleaming, ancient blade with expert precision in the warm, late-afternoon sun. Facing away from the viewer, but looking at a departing transport vehicle where Alex, a grizzled mentor with a sardonic grin, disappears. The scene bathed in golden light with dust motes dancing in the air, suggesting a desolate, futuristic wasteland setting, foreshadowing her legendary status. A breathtaking, high-contrast masterpiece depicting Solaria, a formidable alien warrior with intricate bioluminescent markings, dressed in polished, futuristic armor, unsheathing a gleaming energy blade in a dimly lit, holographic training chamber at night. She's replicating a remembered combat stance, her expression a focused intensity blended with a hint of melancholy, recalling Alex, a human mercenary. Holographic projections flicker around her, showcasing scenes of peaceful negotiations and diplomatic solutions, embodying the story's essence of mastering restraint and wisdom, with a dramatic, cinematic composition capturing the delicate balance between strength and empathy. A breathtaking, high-contrast image of a beautiful, battle-hardened woman in intricately detailed, slightly damaged leather armor, holding a gleaming, razor-sharp blade pointed at a handsome, smirking man in similar attire. The woman's grip on the blade is firm and controlled, reflecting resilience and compassion in her posture, while the man's smile hints at playful defiance. Set in a dimly lit, ancient stone chamber with flickering torchlight casting dramatic shadows, recreating the tense but alluring atmosphere of the story's climax.